double check their sources, then they can easily get scammed. So just make sure that even though if you lose physical copies, you still have a digital copy saved online on your drive. I remember exactly a year ago, I had just received my visa and I had to make this decision of the things that I had to carry along with me and the things that I had to leave behind. So I had 2 bags to fill and I had to make this difficult choice of leaving all those things that I loved, and I just had to carry things that would really turn out useful here in Canada. So watch this video until the end and I will share a few important tips that will definitely come in handy when you're traveling to Canada. So stay tuned until the end. So first and foremost is your documents. Your documents are one of the most important things that you will carry along with you to Canada. So in documents, you have to carry your original passport along with the stamped visa in it. You have to carry your acceptance letter from your university, your enrollment letter, your travel support letter, all your medical documents, and your biometrics. Now make sure you get photocopies of all these documents. Next up is your educational documents. In educational documents, make sure you carry all your school certificates, your PU certificates, your bachelor certificates, and also if possible, make sure you carry a copy of your transcripts. Now, some universities here in Canada request the transcript directly from your home university. Well, I made sure that I carried a copy along with me. And again, make sure you get photocopies of all these documents. Next up is photographs. I made sure I carried a lot of photographs with me. Well, personally, I haven't used any photographs here, but I would still suggest carry photograph because photographs here are pretty expensive. Also, make sure you carry your driver's license and your driving history with the extract. In BC, I have to surrender my original driver's license. So if you're someone who's planning to drive when you come here, then make sure you carry those original documents with you. Finally, carry any other document that you think is important or may be necessary. Make sure you get photocopies of every document. And the most important thing is that you save a digital copy on your Google Drive or your iCloud account. Make sure that you always have a digital copy for each and every document that you carry along with you. This makes sure that even though if you lose physical copies, you still have a digital copy saved online on your drive. Now moving on to clothing, make sure you carry a good amount of t-shirts, shirts, cotton pants, trousers, jeans, and maybe even a 2-piece suit if you wish. What you don't want to be doing is doing your winter shopping in India. Now those clothes cannot keep you warm here. For fall intake students, I would highly recommend doing your winter shopping once you actually land here. Now, you can buy good quality thermals, hoodies, jackets, gloves, and winter gear when you land here. And this also saves a lot of luggage space. So make sure, keep that in mind that you do your winter shopping only when you land here. Now you'll also need a good pair of walking shoes to get you going once you come here. Again, don't buy winter boots in India. Make sure you do that once you land in Canada. Now let's talk about necessities. Now necessities include your kitchen utensils, your gadgets like your phones, your laptops, your chargers. Now depending on where you're going to in Canada, I would suggest buying kitchen utensils accordingly, because in places like Toronto, Vancouver, or even Calgary, I'm pretty sure you will find all those kitchen utensils that you generally find in India. So if you're going to a smaller city or a remote area, then you might not find those kitchen utensils. So make sure you carry a small pan or a medium-sized pan or a cooker along with you. Now, one important thing to note is that most homes in Canada, they use an induction-based coil stove. So make sure that any utensil that you buy actually works on an induction stove. Now moving on to gadgets. If you are planning to buy a phone or a laptop in India before coming to Canada, I would recommend not doing that. And the reason is those chargers do not work here and you would have to buy a converter to make it work. Now the other reason is when you land in Canada, especially during the fall intake, there are a lot of student offers that take place. When I came here, I took advantage of a student offer at the Apple store and I received a $150 student discount. So take advantages of these offers if you are planning to buy a phone or a laptop. Now, an important tip here is to make sure you carry your Indian SIM, especially if you rely on it for your OTPs. I still use my Indian SIM here. It's been a year because I rely on it for my Aadhaar OTPs, my bank OTPs, and all my bills. So I just run a basic plan just to receive text. So you can do that. Bring along your Indian phone and your Indian SIM if you rely on it for your OTPs. Okay, now moving on to health. Now I know most of you guys, or almost every student, will do a medical test before they come to Canada. But I would also suggest for those who wear glasses like me, also make sure that you get your eye test done before coming. Luckily, I carry 2 extra pairs of glasses with me. So I actually broke one last month and this is the replacement for it. So make sure you carry extra pair of glasses if you're planning to fly to Canada. Moving on to accommodation, you can actually look for accommodation while you are still in India. You can look up sites like Facebook, Kijiji, Craigslist. Now be very careful when you're actually trying to look for houses online because not all of them are legit and you can easily get scammed. I would even suggest contacting close friends and families, someone that you really trust here in Canada. A lot of people need to be careful because if they do not double check their sources, then they can easily get scammed. So please make sure that you are very careful when you're trying to look for accommodation. Now you can also look for accommodation once you land here, but that would make the process a little difficult. So I would suggest start looking well in advance while you're in India, and once you come here you can still look for accommodation anyway. Even if you're trying to share a house or a room or a flat with someone, read the contract details, read the lease agreement, go through the rent, the deposit details, the termination details. I've heard lots of stories about my friends who actually booked a house while they were in their home country, but it looked very different when they landed here. So be careful of things like these and make sure that you're always safe and your details are always safe. Lastly, I will share 3 important things that you have to do when you land in Canada. So the first thing is get your bank activated. Now you will have to get your bank activated in order to get your debit card, your credit card, and even some funds into your account so that you can get going and you can buy stuff for yourself when you land here. Now the second thing is to get your SIM for your phone. You will need to contact people, you will need to start communicating. This is how recruiters will get in touch with you when you start pushing your resumes. Now the third thing is your SIN. You will need your SIN for literally everything in Canada. Your employer will need it, your bank will need it, your university will need it. So make sure you get these 3 things done as soon as you land. Okay, so finally I have a bonus tip with you. Make sure you pack some memories with you when you're leaving India. Now make sure you carry something with you that will remind you of home, your friends, your family, your culture, your traditions, and your community. At some point you will miss home, so make sure you carry all that good stuff so that you will be reminded when you start missing home. Alright guys, we have reached the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching this until the end. If you have any questions, then feel free to text me on Instagram or even leave a comment down below. I will make sure I come back to you. Thank you once again. Hit the like button and the subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one.